Chapter 2: The Turbulent Teenage Years. Adolescence arrives not as a gentle transition, but as a torrent, sweeping David into a world of new freedoms, risks, and revelations. Chapter 2 traces his journey through canoes, camps, and curtain calls, where the lessons of brotherhood, belonging, and resilience are forged in the unpredictable currents of teenage life. Through triumphs and turbulence, David begins to discover the person he is becoming, shaped by both the shadows and the light of these formative years. Resurrected in the back of a Ghostbuster ambulance. The last day of summer school, 1981. 15 years old, full of bravado, booze, and a spirit stretched so thin it could have snapped in the wind. 10th grade was behind me, barely. I had scraped through on charm, chaos, and the fragile scaffolding of the nickname Coach, a persona that had outgrown me and begun wearing me instead. By then, the hoodie wasn't a fashion choice. It was camouflage, a uniform of survival. Weed stuffed in the pocket, a reputation stuffed in my chest, liquor churning in my gut like gasoline sloshing in an engine ready to ignite. That morning at Andy Minsack's farm, sitting with Carrie and Connie on the hayfields, I downed half a jug of scotch and chased it with brandy. Not sips, gulps. The kind of drinking that wasn't about fun or rebellion anymore. It was about numbing, belonging, erasing. And at 15, the line between invincibility and self-destruction is paper thin. The girls laughed. The sun burned through the haze. Someone cracked a joke. I laughed too, but there was no joy in it. Just the hollow echo of a boy trying to stay conscious inside his own skin. I don't remember much after that. Just fragments. The shimmer of heat rising off the asphalt on Berkeley Avenue. Nana's house in a blur, like a memory fading as I passed it. Someone tugging at my shirt. Someone else calling my name. Then, darkness creeping in around the edges. And then, collapse. Face first, right onto the exam desk. The crack of my skull hitting the laminate was the gunshot that ended the illusion. The room gasped. Mr. Gorleski froze, then shouted for a classmate, an 11th grader, to drag me down the hallway. My feet didn't even touch the floor. They hauled me like a sack of flour, my body flopping, head hanging, consciousness flickering like a dying light bulb. The principal's office is a blur. The toilet is not. I remember gripping the rim with both hands. I remember vomit. I remember blood. I remember nothing after that. Later, I learned the truth. I flatlined. My heart stopped. I had to be resuscitated. They carried me out of Cohoes High like a fallen boxer, limp and barely breathing. And then came the ambulance, or what passed for one in 1981 Cohoes. Not a sleek medical unit, not something out of a hospital drama. No, this thing looked like a rejected prototype from a Ghostbusters audition. Long, boxy, hearse-like. Dome lights screwed on like afterthoughts. A back compartment that smelled like antiseptic, cigarettes, and old vinyl. A vehicle caught between comedy and tragedy. And inside it, two so-called paramedics in polyester pants and sideburns, looking like they had been yanked from a bowling alley league mid-frame. Their vibe wasn't emergency medical professionals. It was guys who once took a first aid class in 1974 and somehow got certified for life. Their mission wasn't to save me. It was not to let me die on the way. But here's what matters. The part that hit harder than any hangover, harder than any fist Danny Lennon ever threw. Coach Joe Loudis was there, and so was my father. Loudis later told me something that rewired my entire understanding of the man who raised me, the man whose silence was punishment, whose rage was weather, whose stoicism was gospel. He saw my father cry. Not misty-eyed, not choked up. Cry. The man I feared most. The man whose approval felt like winning the lottery. The man who spoke in sighs, not sentences. Cracked open when he saw me lying there pale and motionless. Tears ran down his face. For years, I wasn't sure he had tear ducts. I'd never seen them in action. Turns out they worked. He just needed his youngest son to brush up against death to find them. When I woke up, it wasn't in a hospital bed. It wasn't surrounded by monitors or nurses. I woke up in my own bed, head pounding like a tribal drum, arms suspended in a sling, mouth filled with the metallic taste of vomit and regret. There was no white light epiphany, no angels, no heavenly choir, just the smell of home, the hum of the fan, the faint sting of disinfectant on my skin, and the realization that I had literally drunk myself to death, and then back again. It wasn't the booze that shook me. It wasn't the resuscitation. It wasn't the Ghostbusters ambulance or the polyester paramedics. It was Dad. The tears. The humanity I'd never seen. In that moment, whether he said it or not, I knew he loved me. That knowledge didn't save me immediately. It didn't cure me. It didn't erase the chaos still ahead. But it cracked something open inside me. The mask, the myth, the invincibility I pretended to wear. It showed me that survival wasn't luck. It was possibility. And for the first time, I wondered if maybe, just maybe, my life could be more than a series of near misses. Thank you for spending this time with me, the Pussycat Wizard. These moments we share, whether in shadows or in light, are threads in a much larger story, one I'm honored to tell with you beside me. As always, the journey continues. The next chapter subsection is waiting, and I'd be honored if you'd walk with me a little further down this road. Until then, keep the wonder alive, and I'll see you in the next episode of Little Did I Know.
In the quiet of my mind, a tempest rages. Mother's convictions, the script of ages. Her voice a beacon in the fog of my prose. David, she chides, in secrecy it goes. Beneath my breath, a silent plea. Mother, I hear you, but can you hear me? Your Savior, your faith you implore, I embrace. Yet within, I wrestle with my own grace. Torn between the divine and my truth. A son's love, a personal sleuth. Have you surrendered? You persistently ask. In your version of Jesus, should I bask? Jane, your call for aid. He's different, you say. A label pre-made. In your eyes I see the the fear of a son's path not straight but queer. Stand at the crossroads of self, my identity not just a book on the shelf. Mother, your love I'll always hold dear, but my journey is mine. Let this be clear.